Don't be inappropriate with children. Why is that difficult? Why is this hard? Why do we keep talking about this? Here's what we're talking about today. I know the internet's been wild. I might have thoughts. It's been a really interesting, I don't know, since late day yesterday, it's been real interesting if you watch YouTube play out in a YouTube way. I know there's other things going on in the world, but if they don't involve a ukulele, I probably haven't been paying a ton of attention to them in the last 12 plus hours. I've got to be honest. I just whoosh, right down. There was also a tremendous document drop in the Delphi case. Everyone's like, Emily, you have to just go with warm liquids. It will help you recover your voice more. And I'm like, but cold brew is life. So we're going to see how it goes. Cheers to making adult decisions. Sometimes when we make bad choices, it's that we know we should drink hot coffee and instead we're drinking cold coffee. And I can get behind these kinds of, I've made a mistake today. Those are actual mistakes. Like maybe I've made a choice. That's not texting minors. Just gonna put that out there. That's, intentional action and not a mistake. But we're going to talk about that in a minute because some of you are like, Emily, you're veg streaming. I feel like maybe we need to talk about it for just a second because then we have a lot of documents to get to. Hey there, I'm Emily D. Baker, the internet's go-to legal analyst, breaking down the legal side of the pop culture and entertainment stories we can't stop talking about. I'm a big fan of the cursey words. I've been a licensed attorney for over 17 years, but this is not legal advice. This is where the law nerds unite to talk about facts, not fuckery. Let's get into it.
Even though my team has strongly advised me to not say what I want to say, I recently realized that they never said that I couldn't sing what I want to say.
Here are my thoughts. Look, a response video from a YouTuber who has been inappropriately chatting with minors is not a legal situation at the moment. I cover legal situations. There are no lawsuits filed. I don't think there will be lawsuits filed. Could there be lawsuits filed is maybe something I could evaluate down the road. I think the reason that Colleen Ballinger is not threatening defamation lawsuits is because nothing defamatory is being said. Things that are unflattering have been said, but I don't think those unflattering things are untrue. We are watching it unfold in the internet. Adam McIntyre, who is a YouTuber here on the platform, who does commentary videos, was involved in this as a minor and talked about it in 2020, and the entire internet was terrible to him about it, called him a clout chaser and the rest of it. And then in 2023, others came forward and backed up everything he had said, not just with text messages and proof, but with their own stories.
You know, like the fact that a child can literally say with proof that they obtained your underwear, had sexual conversations with you, and that you also sent them pornography. You said that you wanted to focus on the facts, but didn't provide any facts. Your fans were traumatized when on the stage you spread their legs, when they would put their tiny hands inside your pants, and then you tell them that they look like porn, but at least you've got those consent forms.
Porn, not porn. Porn, not porn, okay?
The Hamas Express.
Oh, we're getting close and personal. Oh, but I'm so hungry, James. Hold on, I got a snack. Do you want a cheese ball?
I'd love one. I can't believe I'm reaching in there right now.
This was like 2017, 2016, so I would have been 15 or something like that, 15-ish. So she goes, "Are you a virgin?" to me, and she asked me what my favorite sex position is.
I'm honestly just flabbergasted by that.
There's another one even that I don't know if he shows in this same one, but it's like the same chat, and it's the same like asking for questions for the Q&A where it's he says something like, "My ass looks good," and she says, "Send a pic."
Oh my
even
God.
that is so like, even if she wants to play it off like it's a joke, these ones I'm like, what's your favorite sex position? He's 15.
The thing that's just so insane to me is this is not a joke you're making on the internet. Even if it was, that would be fucked up, right? But you're not just making a joke. You're in the DMs of a 15-year-old speaking about their sex life. It's so many layers of fucked. It's like a whole fucking fucked cake that I can't even fathom what she was thinking, because she was like well into her 20s when she did this.
She was 30.
What I will say is, in the legal world, there is a reason that when things happen to minors, there is a reason that the statutes of limitations generally do not start until they are 18 or until they discover the harm. And that is because oftentimes minors cannot perceive the damage that was done to them until later, especially when you have situations where the adults or the authority figure in the situation normalizes the behavior. It makes it very difficult for minors to recognize, especially when we're dealing with emotional and psychological harm, the level of harm that was done, which is why statute of limitations don't start running until later, right? So I think when we're looking at all of this, it is really important to keep in mind that, especially when the adult or authority figure in the situation normalizes inappropriate behavior, it's very, very difficult for minors to unwind that. And that's why the behavior is so dangerous. And that is why my heart and my empathy is absolutely with Adam McIntyre. I think in 2020, it was brave to come forward and say, hey, this is a really bad, weird situation. And then to have it all come out was so much worse, because that didn't come forward at a time of his choosing. The other thing I will say is, if you haven't listened to the podcast Believed, that talks about a different situation, talks about the United States gymnastics situation, there were parents in the room when some of the instances of abuse happened, because the parents also didn't know that it was going on. So what I would ask for the internet is to understand that, A, parents don't always know what their teens are doing, but also when parents trust someone, parents can also be manipulated. And it's easy to look at it in hindsight and be like, I wish I had known this was going on. And we all probably would have wished we had known. I'm sure Adam's parents wish they had known. But I am never going to get on the internet and say, I know every single thing that my teen is doing on Discord with his friends. I try to. But when your teens are hiding things from you, I don't know how you're supposed to uncover that, other than doing the best that you can so that they trust you and talk to you. But if there's another adult saying to them, don't share this with your parents, it's going to be difficult for the parents to perceive that. So I think what the internet needs is a whole lot of empathy for Adam, for his parents, and for all the other teens who were fans of this content and were manipulated into situations where they are, as adults, realizing how fucked it was, and that they are having to parse through that as well. And that's a real difficult thing to walk through on the internet. And then you get the person who was involved in all of these group chats with minors. I don't know. This might sound rude. It's not meant to be rude to anyone who is young. I love y'all. But I've heard my kid and his friends talk. And I've heard my friends and I talk. I really don't want to be in a group chat with my kid and his friends. I want nothing to do with it at all. Like, at all. I love my child. But oh my God, I've been through high school. I don't want to do that at all. I don't want to do that at all. I can't understand why a 30-year-old adult wants to be in a group chat with a bunch of 12, 13, 14-year-olds and then talking to them about sex. It's awkward enough to talk to my own child about sex. And those are conversations we need to have. And it's still awkward. God, I can't imagine. I just can't imagine. I can't imagine wanting that. And in the very strange, not apology, I don't think anyone should be calling it that, in the very strange response video with a ukulele, which if you don't want to give it views, I understand. Adam McIntyre reacts to it if you want to watch it there. Every other channel on the internet has talked about it. And it's interesting to me that this dropped right after VidCon, because this is what everybody would have been talking about at VidCon. Literally everyone. So Colleen Ballinger gets a ukulele and sings that basically there's a toxic gossip train. And I'm like, are you saying that the text messages are fake? Because that's not what you said. And they don't seem to be fake. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at. It's the wildest thing I've seen play out on the internet. I've never seen it play out this. I've never seen anything play out quite like this. Wow. So all I would ask is when it comes to the minors involved not perceiving the damage that was being done to them when they're minors, I think there is a lot of room for the internet to have some empathy and some grace in that situation. And I will stand behind always. Death threats are not okay. Doxing is not okay. Those things are not okay. And those things are being levied towards Adam, even though he didn't start any of this year. Other people exposed text messages that were sent to him that were completely inappropriate. Which makes me sad. My husband was like, what in the world are you watching? I'm like, oh, Dr. B. So this is the situation. This is a song with a ukulele. And he's like, what? What is happening? Yep. So this is unreal. The internet has been kind of a buzz with that particularly over the last, 12 hours or whatever. But good Lord, I've been watching that unfold. Because I've been watching that unfold because you know me. The reason I started covering the Toddy Westbrook case is because I watched all of the beauty drama unfold. Just because we don't talk about it here doesn't mean I'm not watching it. Chat about it with the mods. It's so weird. It's just such an odd situation. But for me, it was giving James Charles vibes because Colleen Ballinger said, yes, I texted with my fans. And yes, I was in group text with my fans. But it wasn't in a creepy way. It wasn't creepy. Creepy/predatory, It wasn't creepy. She said that she was a loser. And that's why she wanted to text her fans. And it's giving James Charles, I'm desperate. Like, no, it's not weird and creepy. I'm just a loser. And it's like, look, those who you're messaging get to decide if it's creepy. And, yeah. Also, look, I don't know why it needs to be said. And I don't know why it's hard. Because for the law nerds, it's not hard. Don't be inappropriate with children. Why is that difficult? Why is this hard? Why do we keep talking about this? We were talking about this with the Balenciaga ads. Like, what the fuck are you doing? How is this passing muster in people's brains? Like, oh, it seems like a good idea to message children about whether or not they're virgins, what sex positions they like. What? No. Just no. Also, if you're telling me that you are in your 30s and all your friends are 12, I have a whole fuck ton of questions for you. Because again, I know what my friends and I talk about, and I listen to a 15-year-old and his friends chat. Those aren't chats I need to be a part of or even want to be a part of. God, I lived through that part of my life.
Leave the fucking kids out of it.
That's it.
I'm so furious. I boil every time I see one of these news reports where adults are influencing children. I boil. It makes me so angry.
Focus their attention on the then 11-year-old saying, I've talked extensively with your child and they have a lot of power to them. At one point, you're going to realize that you don't have any control over them anymore. They're an elevated being, and they would be lucky to have someone like me guide them.
Unacceptable.
Yeah.
And I have a shotgun. Let me prove it.
That's, again... You start talking weird to my kid like that, you're out. But yeah.
You're up against the wall, and I am the fucking wall.
I hope you die in prison as well.
fuck off. Nasty pile of garbage. And hopefully the full force of the law will come down upon them.
And so for someone who is a content creator who is famous in this world to be trauma dumping on their audience, asking their audience to do things for them, and then asking for pics is not fucking okay. But for those that think that threatening, harassing, doxing is going to make someone shut up, the shit's out of the horse on this one. It's way too late. That's just going to be illegal. Thankfully, Adam lives in a country where that is way more illegal than it is in some places. And I know he's made the necessary police reports, and I hope he continues to do so to protect himself and his family. This still isn't as bad as the Onision. I don't know the full Onision situation, but I will take a look. Look, whenever we're talking about minors and it's like, it can be worse. Unfortunately, it can be worse, and that's awful. But it doesn't minimize the harm done to those who are having to walk through this on the internet.